Hello, and welcome back to Humans in 5.
Today is a popular holiday across the US and around the world, Cinco de Mayo. So today on Observing the World, we're going to take the chance to unpack the origins of this holiday and explore where it came from and why it's as popular as it is today.
Cinco de Mayo translates from Spanish to the 5th of May. This holiday was initiated to commemorate the Mexican Army's unlikely victory over French forces at the Battle of Puebla on May 5, 1862, during the French occupation of Mexico after the Mexican-American War and the Reform War.
As the French army were making a move on the capital of Mexico City, the small and poorly equipped Mexican army managed to defeat the larger and better equipped French army against the odds. The Battle of Puebla stands as a moment in Mexican and world history where the little guy won, and also represents one of the last invasions by European forces on countries in the Americas.
So, how does the 5th of May go from being a 19th century battle to an American holiday where people eat burritos and down Coronas? Contrary to popular belief, Cinco de Mayo is not widely celebrated in Mexico. It is celebrated in the state of Puebla and the neighboring state of Veracruz, but otherwise is overlooked. Meanwhile, in the United States, Canada, the Caribbean, even as far away as New Zealand, people gather to celebrate Mexican and Latin American culture.
These celebrations are often stated as days for taking pride in Latin American cultural heritage. So as anthropologists, it's worth taking a closer look at the external forces that have led to the popularity of this holiday.
In the years following the Battle of Puebla, the battle itself was largely forgotten, and the date held no special significance outside of the state of Puebla. This remained true until the Chicano movement of the 1960s and 70s. This movement was based in California and spread across the United States. It focused on the civil and human rights of Mexican Americans and Latin Americans living in the United States.
Supporters of this movement saw an opportunity to use Cinco de Mayo as a day to celebrate their heritage and roots, and to foster pride in local Hispanic communities.
However, according to Donald Miles, the author of the book, Cinco de Mayo, Why is Everyone Celebrating?, marketing and commercial interests transformed this small cultural holiday into a much bigger deal in the years since the 1960s and 70s.
In 1970, the Coors Brewing Company was successfully sued by the Chicano movement for discriminatory hiring practices. One outcome of that lawsuit, when it was finally settled in 1977, was that Coors had to support Hispanic associations in their community activities, including events where cultural pride was celebrated, such as Cinco de Mayo.
So, with the increase in Mexican American and Latin American cultural celebrations and the increased distribution of Coors at these events, it soon became clear to other beer companies that Coors were performing better in Latin American communities. These other companies soon decided to follow suit by sponsoring and providing beverages for a huge number of Latin American community events, including the 122 official celebrations of Cinco de Mayo that occur across the United States each year.
In a few short decades, a day earmarked to celebrate self-determination and defeat against the odds for Mexican Americans became the commercial holiday often referred to by non-Hispanic participants in the US as Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo is just one of many examples where a small-scale holiday becomes transformed due to external corporate and market influences. Think about other occasions like Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day. They too have been subject to similar events and have come a long way from their origins.
So before you start to swig margaritas and do shots of tequila while wearing a sombrero and doing the Mexican hat dance, maybe take a moment to think about the Battle of Puebla and reflect on the rich and diverse history of Mexico and her descendants around the world.
Muchas gracias for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Adios!